Alpha. Alpha. Alpha.
Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha.
Life happens in small moments. When you turn the ordinary into an epic adventure. And even the not-so-special days become unforgettable memories. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha. Alpha. Alpha.
Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha.
Life happens in small moments. When you turn the ordinary into an epic adventure. And even the not-so-special days become unforgettable memories. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha. Alpha. Alpha.
Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha.
Life happens in the small moments. When you turn the ordinary into an epic adventure. And even the not-so-special days become unforgettable memories. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha. Alpha. Alpha.
Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha.
Life happens in the small moments. When you turn the ordinary into an epic adventure. And even the not-so-special days become unforgettable memories. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha. Alpha. Alpha.
Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha.
Life happens in the small moments. When you turn the ordinary into an epic adventure. And even the not-so-special days become unforgettable memories. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.
Alpha. Alpha.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Sony Alpha Digital Learning Program, brought to you by Sony Philippines in cooperation with SOFA Design Institute. My name is Nicco Valenzuela. I'm a landscape and architectural photographer and product expert for Sony Philippines, and thank you for being with us today. So today we will be talking about digital content creation with Sony Alpha professional Kitty Bunag, featuring the all-new Sony Alpha 7C, an all-new concept camera made for the on-the-go digital creatives. So in the past few weeks, Sony Philippines has been busy with exciting events and exciting online events with spearheaded by the launch of the Sony A7C. And personally, I was able to try and test the Sony A7C to its depths, and it's quite an exciting camera that I think everyone, every creator, every content creator should be able to try. So, to give you a bit of a backgrounder, this is the first school tie-up of Sony Philippines, and we're happy to be doing it first with SOFA Design Institute. But before anything else, I'd like to tell everyone that our pre-order promo for the Sony A7C is ongoing, and the link will be posted below. So our main topic for today will be digital content creation with photography. As we all know by now, photography, much like all the other medias, is something very important in building our brands, building our businesses, and basically the camera that we use is quite instrumental for this. And that is why today we're going to be joined by none other than Sony Alpha professional, Miss Kitty Bunag, a creative entrepreneur, lifestyle photographer, co-founder and internal design consultant for Craftsmith Guild, and her work is mainly focuses on product photography, still life, interiors, travel, editorial content for a multitude of the most respected brands in the lifestyle industry. So without further ado, let's welcome Sony Alpha professional photographer, Miss Kitty Bunag. Hi, Kitty.
Hi,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for that introduction, Nico. Hey guys. Hey guys.
All right. Are you excited for everyone
what we
today?
have in
Store for everyone
Super
today?
excited. Super excited. And I'm super excited to share. I completely agree with you. The Sony A7C has been a game changer for me. In terms of how I've been doing my work lately. So yay! I'm excited to share. With
Yeah, I've been seeing all your posts on Instagram.
Thank you.
Okay, and I believe today we're going to be joined by three of SOFA students. We have Paula Jean Villas, Adam Pereira, and Ina Villavicencio. Hi guys.
Hi, Nico. Hi, guys.
All right.
Hello.
Before we begin, the information of Nova is that everyone is watching, and of course, contact with to our comment section on YouTube. And there we go. How your name, you have any experience in how about working with
Hi everyone, I'm glad to be here today. So I'm Paul and I am a Venezuela. I'm also practicing I don't have much experience. I just have very excited to learn today.
All right. I'm really excited for you. And how about Ina?
Everyone. So I'm Vicencio. I analyze the aspect of IA skills. We are a design firm based in Bali City. I'm also currently studying interior design, sofa design. So for photography, I only know the basic because I do have like an online business for a site. That's it. So I want to learn more. Thank you.
All right. And I believe we have Adam.
Hi everyone.
Hello. Hi Adam. And have you any experience in photography?
Right. So I'm currently picking up 2 year fashion design and marketing with Sony Design Institute of course. And I've been doing content creation, posting fashion content, fashion student, and how these creatives that there's
That's awesome. Yeah.
All right. So you guys have outstanding expectations for today's workshop. I'm sure a lot of you will be and if I were very excited to learn from her.
Okay. Hi.
Yes.
See you guys. Okay, great. Are you guys seeing?
Yeah.
I'm very excited to learn everyone. It's good to know Adam you might have better insights than me. So yes, I learned a couple of years back. So it's good to be back virtually. It's a bit challenging, but we're gonna make this work.
All right.
All right, Kitty. How about we start this and get going?
Okay, so I have. I'm going to start with short alert, and then later on I'm going to do a demo. Based on my lecture.
Okay.
You'll see my. It should flash on the screen. Here we go. So throughout the lecture, if you have questions, do write them down and save them for later when we have our Q&A portion. Okay, so I'm calling this workshop Photographic Expressions too, because basically that's what we're really doing when we do content creation. You guys are all creatives. You're well on your way to becoming really great creative entrepreneurs. And it all begins with an idea, right? Whatever it is that you're into. Maybe you want to launch a business after school. Maybe you want to turn a hobby into something more. You want to share just whatever creative project you have with the world. So whatever it is, the way you tell your story online makes a really big difference. So I work with many brands. Now I noticed that a lot of companies lean more on photography and video, especially now that the world is transitioning to everything online, right? Everyone's working extremely hard to develop an aesthetic that includes real world imagery. Everyone wants to be relevant. Everyone wants to communicate. So that's what I want to attempt to teach you or share with you guys. Okay. All right. I don't want to read off of my slides as much as possible, but basically, what is a photographic expression, right? You, as the brand owner, or as the photographer, for example, of your brand, you are the idea maker. You're the visionary behind the aesthetic of your images, of whatever you put out there. And expressions would be the action of making known one's thoughts or feelings. Graphically, strong brands have great advantages kasi photos can impact us immediately, especially now that everyone's on Instagram. Instagram is like a micro blog, right? So
Right.
it creates an immediate impact through real world stories and whatever it is that you put out there. And when you do it right, they become timeless and they become parang human truths, as I call it, that don't change with the season. That creates your brand recall. Okay, so you want to create images to communicate a particular emotion. You tell stories. I call it capturing the art of every day. Also, you as the brand owner, you work on the overall aesthetic of your layouts. People think this is easy, pero dami mong iisipin, di ba? You choose your props, you choose your lighting, you think about what you want your audience to feel, you choose your textures. So let's break them down one by one. Sorry. So how to develop a brand photographically? When you do branding, kasi branding is a whole different it's a whole different topic. I have a business partner who's a brand designer. She's a graphic designer. It's actually, we've been talking about this kasi when people want to start a brand, they immediately think, ay, kailangan kong logo. But really, branding is more than just a logo. It's your entire identity. So this is something that you can develop. You can have a brand without a logo. You can start a brand immediately just by having really good photographs or videos for those who are into video content creation. Okay, to start, this is my process. The first two steps generally are correlated. You create a mood board and you create a style guide. Okay. So mood board is a good starting point to get things done. It helps you collate and focus your ideas to help define your project. There's so much inspiration out there. You can grab photos from your favorite brands, favorite sites. Just imagine you picture your own photography working together as you start your brand. Yeah, you go with your gut. Also, when you put together your mood board, sometimes it helps to show your family or friends and other users to see if your mood board resonates with them. The style guide naman is more specific. Like, what kind of content should be in your photos? Should it be product centric only? Do you want to mix it with lifestyle shots? Do you want to mix it with nature? Do you want hands in frame? Do you want portraits of people? If you do, what kind of people are there? Would it be celebrities, children, things like that? What kind of story your images tell? Also, what mood does it convey your viewer? How should they feel after looking at it? Do you want them to feel hungry? Do you want them to feel cold? Do you want them to feel warm? Also, how do you want the photos to be edited? Right? There are people. I used to desaturate all my images until I got tired of it and I transitioned to more colorful ones. And then I'd get tired of it and I transition again. So you, as a brand, you still evolve. And it's okay to show that. It's okay to show how you grow. It's okay how you show how you transition your brand. Okay. So, for example, here's an example of this is a peg that I made for a new brand. It's called Cocina Vida, and these are not their actual photos. This was when we were still conceptualizing how to put together, how is the brand going to look like when we put it together in squares. So yeah, later on I'll show you how Cocina Vida looks like now, the actual. So we wanted it minimal. Some will have dark, but it's very organic. It's very it's also product centric. In this case, the brand owner didn't want people in their squares, in their images, which is also fine. Okay. This is Cocina Vida now. So Cocina Vida is basically a farm to table jam product. So in between product shots, we will show photos of farms. There. Photos of farms, farmers, botanical images. Again, it boils down to the feeling that you want to create, the message that you want to communicate. Okay. Telling a story. Number 3, tell a story. I keep repeating that. For example, in creating flyers, because this is essential when you launch, as you go about developing your brand. There are flyers that need to be made, right? So I thought these are the same flyers but with different images. It's like saying, hey, here's a fancy drink, yung nasa left, the one with the cocktail versus the one where a girl is holding a pineapple. For me lang to, for me, it's like again, the other one is very straightforward product. Here's a fancy drink. And then the other one where the girl is holding, it's like telling a tale of summer, of a pool, of get creative with my drink. Also where it's tan, tapos there's coral nail polish. It speaks of a human presence, so it makes you want to know what's going on in that party. Ano kaya meron? What's going on behind that frame? What's happening to the rest of the pool party? Right? So this scene for me, it's richer, meaning it connects well with the feeling of summertime, just because of of the elements that are in it. Okay. Again, both images are good. Nothing is wrong. It still, again, boils down to whatever message it is that you want to communicate. Brands, or there are brand owners who just want straightforward, a simpler, straightforward image. Okay. Using excellent photos. Create and use your own beautiful photos. If I have siguro one rule that I would strictly follow for my own brands is that I would not use stock images that aren't mine. So when I was starting, even if hindi ganun kaganda my shot, it has to be my own image. I noticed that a lot of startups are doing, are grabbing from other sites, which are fine. But sana, it would be good to practice. It would be good to create your own images for your own brand. Now, there are several components that go into what makes a beautiful photo. Okay. Number one is lighting. Is it too dark or is it too bright? Are the important parts of your photo well exposed? Or are there some details in your actual product getting lost? Pure whites or pure blacks. Also, especially for those who have fashion brands, if you're starting a fashion, color of the fabric is very important, right? So when you do your composition, lighting plays a big role. So, lighting is free. It's free. Make use of it wisely. Best time of day for me to take photos would either be in the morning or in the afternoon. So here, where I'm set up later, you will see I'm right beside all the lights. Composition and distractions. Okay. Later on, I'll give a few tips, a few more tips when composing your photos. Some questions to ask. Does it have a strong, compelling composition? Is there a good foreground, a midground, and background? Does it feel flat? Does it create a sense of depth? Because of the work that I do, I'm wired already to look at the frame from end to end. I see the world through a grid. You know the grids on your phones, di ba? Yung may parang rule of thirds. Anyway, that grid. Be mindful of everything that surrounds your frame. Meron ba diyang supot? Meron ba diyang tissue? Or does the fabric that you put there have stains? Be mindful of every square inch that goes around your frame. Okay. Distractions. Is it free from clutter? Are there distracting elements? Now, this is tricky. Again, it depends on your intent because I like to layer. You will see that later. And even in my Instagram, you'll see that I like to layer things a lot. But in a way that the challenge is to layer in a way that's still cohesive, that's still not distracting, and it's still enjoyable to look at from your viewer's eyes. Okay. And when you compose, give your elements breathing space. Just be mindful always. Next is authenticity. Okay. Authenticity. Does it feel real? Does it feel forced? Talking about. It's better to create your own images rather than just grabbing from another site to create an impression. This way, it will feel more real. And in time, you will keep improving. And when people see that, your brand becomes aspirational. So, finding your style, remember, it takes time. It's an evolving project. Storytelling through photography will help you open your eyes and will help you actually shape yourself. So, I'd encourage you guys to keep practicing. Keep practicing, shooting, creating images for self-expression, for your brand, or for personal use. Again, good branding is important, but even more important is authenticity. Okay. And lastly, brand recall, brand consistency. Brand recall is created via many interactions over time. So once you have your style guide, regularly tell the stories associated with your product or with your content, with your brand. Use imagery that fits with that, with the guide that you created, and then over time you'll get better and better. Over time you'll evolve, and you'll soon begin to crystallize in the minds of your audience. Ultimately, when done well, someone can look at your images without any caption or context and say, for example, "I that looks like a Sony photo." Okay, get what I mean? So here are some examples. When composing, I call this I call this style leading lines, right? Because you follow diagonal, straight lines, either diagonal, straight, or horizontal or vertical. Because when layouts are set up this way, the eye travels enjoyably again in your layout. Okay, this is shot for a brand that's I posted this earlier. It's a leather fix shop. It's called Vintage Restore. So they want to show more of their behind the scenes, more earthy in luxury brands that they work on. They want to portray how good craftsmanship should be. Okay. Here's another example. This is for an ice cream brand. One of my favorite ice cream brands. It's local, but it's Japanese inspired. Okay. You see, I like repeating colors. I like repeating textures. I always like um, injecting the lifestyle, meaning including images that are related to the brand, but not necessarily a product shot. Just to create that vibe. Okay, this is different. This one feels wintry, diba? This one is winter. This one naman is summer. So many food brands are popping up left and right. It's insane. It's amazing actually to see. It's inspiring to see many startups, adapting to the new normal, to how things are now. Okay. This one is quite layered, a lot of layers. So a good break in between images when you do your squares would be more minimal shots. Okay. Some examples. To the far right, this is not even a product. This is a brand that offers services for many companies. They offer training, they offer upskill videos for frontliners. So the way the Instagram is done is that they want to show interactions with people. They want to show restaurants, retail, um, photographed in a real life setting, also with some quotes and captions in between photographs. There. Okay, going back to composition, I just have a few tips before we move on to our live demo. Okay. ABCs of composition. A, you choose an anchor. So whatever your anchor is, it's the hero, or it's your product. it's the hero of your layout, the hero of your vignette. So you pick something that you love to see every day. If, let's say, you're just starting and you don't have a brand yet, um, and you want to create, you want to practice, there, pick a hero. And then when you pick other items, make it relate to your hero. The anchor may also be a mini group of similar things. Okay, next is a backdrop. Backdrop, this is very crucial. Your display's backdrop is very vital. A chaotic backdrop, for example, can create visual chaos, but when done right, when you actually tie it with your product, it can work really well. There. So an intricately patterned object against an intricately patterned backdrop can actually work. That's what I wanted to show here. But people, I mean, generally people are afraid to do this, but I just wanted to say that it is possible. You know, you take note of the textures, take note of the colors, take note of the tones, the warmth or coolness of the colors that you bring into your frame. Okay. So backgrounds act in a positive way when they unify your image. Okay, contrast. C. Contrast, coziness, or commonality. Again, I want to demo that later. Play with contrasts. It's not just in color. If you have a plain backdrop, you can add texture. If you have something um, if you have something smooth, you can mix it with something rough. Okay. Coziness. Pieces spaced evenly over the whole surface to lose their connection on one another. That's when you have many objects in a frame. The tendency is to make them all separate, right? Sometimes it ends up looking like you have a garage sale, but when you bunch them up together and cozy them up together, they lose their connection. And when you snuggle them up and let them touch, it actually looks more aesthetically pleasing. And then lastly, commonality. Give the items in your layout a reason to be together. Relate them by color. Kahit na the very, very background of your image, say in this left side, there's that rainbow toy. If you look at the layer under the rug, there's a matchy rug. Things like that. When one or more of these elements are repeated, again, the eye travels enjoyably around your layouts. Okay. Before we end this slideshow, I urge you to ask yourselves. I have a few questions that need not be answered, to just for you guys to sleep on or meditate on. Define your mission. Okay? So ask yourselves, when you go out there, when you start your brands, what would you be doing with it if nothing were standing in the way? If you knew you couldn't fail, who would you be working with? As a photographer, as a brand owner, part of the job is to collaborate with other artists, with other creative entrepreneurs. So who would you be working with? What would you be doing? What would you be selling? And how would you be doing it? Okay, ask yourselves, what moves me? What are my strengths? How should others respond? Who are my heroes? And how will this evolve? These questions are very helpful moving forward when you create your style guide, when you encounter, crossroads when creating your brands. Okay, photography is at its deepest a great medium for storytelling. When you connect to visual imagery, you're able to process it quickly and deeply. It's a very powerful tool to work with, and images take up a huge amount of space in the cyber world. Make sure you use this space well to tell great stories. So here's a quote from a master in photography, Ansel Adams. A great photograph is one that fully expresses what one feels in the deepest sense about what is being photographed. That's it. Let's go back to Nicco.
All right. Miss Kitty, for that very insightful lecture. Um, Even I learned a lot. I'm sure a lot of the those watching with us today are learning a lot. You know, when I first saw Kitty's Instagram, I said, "Wow! Aside from all these photos are really great, she's also very, very consistent." And for me, for example, that hasn't been the case, and I can really see the effort that she puts into her personal branding. And I think one of the things that I learned a lot today is how to be able to stick to that central theme and represent your brand, maybe as a photographer or maybe as a business entity. And I think personally, I picked up a lot of things from that. Now let's go to our
Let's
ask
ask
them
them
a
a
few
few
questions while
while
Kitty is setting up her live demo. Hey guys. So basically, my question for you is what struck you the most about what Kitty explained and about the photos that she showed? Let's go one by one. Let's go one by one with Ina. First with Ina.
Hi,
Nico.
Nico. What struck you the most? Easy question. The last part. What is our mission? What lessons learned, the purpose of my brand? You know, like what's my brand identity? How do you show a great visual imagery? And what exactly do I convey to my audience? It really struck me the most because sometimes whenever I'm posting on my online business, sometimes there are times like there are those where you're constantly like and you don't know what to post at. So what Miss Kitty showed really helped me a lot.
All right. Now let's go to Paula.
Hi, Nico, and also hi, Kitty. You know, I really enjoyed Kitty's presentation, and I absolutely So yeah, I was very intrigued by that, and I'm glad I was able to digest it. It'll be very helpful in the future.
All right. Thank you, Paula. How about you, Adam?
Yeah, it was very much insightful. From the right from the bat, we've also understood, different rules of creating a feed. Creating a feed is very much like an art, and how Miss Kitty put it into a very simple terms, which is ABC. It takes a lot of training to create a balanced and well represented feed. But at the same time, it's also through the eyes of how the human touch can also impact your feed in Instagram.
All right, thank you, Adam. So
Adam.
yeah,
I'm ready.
very much, valid for all of that. For all of that. No, personally, with me, I shoot very different things from Kitty, but there are some commonalities between us. I shoot a lot of architecture, a lot of interiors, and basically making sense out of the randomness or finding order in the randomness of things is one thing that you do photographically. A lot of the things that you show in your feed, in your Instagram, or in the photos that you produce, basically aren't things that already seen by the non-creative eye. So it is our duty as creatives to present that in the most aesthetic and most pleasing way. All right. So we're just waiting for
I'm ready. I'm
okay.
ready.
Kitty is ready, and we will now switch over back to Kitty, and she will show us her creative process.
I'm nervous, bigla. Hi.
Hi.
Okay. I have with me the Sony A7C. It's an amazing tool for not just for professionals, even for startups, guys. I'm going to be showing you. Okay, hold on. Do you see it? So this is it. It's not as bulky as it looks, promise, guys. There's a transmitter attached to it, so I can show you the actual output later. Okay, let me put that down. Can you see? So let's pretend, guys. Let's pretend that this is your product. This is brand. Hold on. There, okay? So, okay, sorry. Talagang into different. Meron akong kumot face. That's what I call it. I'm so into these prints lately. So let's start. You know, the same brand can have a completely different vibe depending on how you style it. Okay? And now, as I style, I pick a background, right? I pick a background, and when I do, I I slowly add elements to it. What's my thought process? It's kind of hard to answer on the materials that I have on hand, but mostly I base it on my mood for the day, depending on what my color mood for the day is. Let's say we add corals, right? And as I style, as I add on elements, for example, I actually start shooting already. Kasi, again, you need as much content as you have. Even without the beam, I start shooting already. I start test shooting, and then I know that this is something that I can eventually use. Okay, hold on. And then I slowly add on. Minsan kahit paulit-ulit people won't really notice, right? As in, up to a dead leaf. Okay, sorry. I am beside a window. Ayan. So you see my light. This is an afternoon light. A 2 p.m. light is actually good. I like it. Ayan. Medyo, if you see, if my frame is like this, di ba kita na yung presyo? Sorry. So, move nyo lang. You know, find different croppings as you shoot. Sobrang on the spot to, guys. Dito planado ko. So that's one layout already. Okay. And then, let's add more. Ah, may brand na pala. Oh, let's add your brand. Yan, sa gitna. Here. Ay, kita yung price pa rin. Sorry. See it, guys? So this vibe is more tropical. It's a bit of geometric because we angled this paper. Okay. And you see the play of colors, right? It's for your brand, for whatever the brand is. Now let's make it retro. Let's make it retro naman. Palitan natin yung elements. Okay, I collect records. Wala. Hold on. I collect vinyl. So, I'm taking out a retro disc, a retro vinyl. Mas colorful naman siya. And this is the product. Okay, you see the difference? This one naman, parang instantly, it feels cool. Parang nawala yung pagka-plantita vibe. Right? It's there. And another layout, if I may suggest, having a human element in frame. Minimal, very minimal. Okay, when I'm, for example, this is what I love about the Sony A7C. Sorry, shameless plug, but really, it's so light and it has that vari-angle screen where it allowed the camera have my hand in frame because it's full frame. Ang daming naka-capture. Sorry. Let's say I'm shooting it vertically. When my hand is in frame, when there's that human touch. Sorry, in your screens, I think you're gonna see it sideways. That's another layout in itself. When I have my hand in frame, you know what I do? Pipiliin ko talaga may, I choose my accessories. I choose my accessories. I think about the photo that's going to, the photo that I posted previously prior to this, if merong orange tones, for example, or rust or earth tones, I would pick rust-colored accessories. Yan. Tapos, meron akong giant ring. Lahat yan, planned. Okay. Next. Hold on, sorry. Meron kasing strap. There you go. Sorry, I'm not a hand model, so the most that I can do is accessorize. Oops, sorry. Wait lang. Yeah, the most that I can do is accessorize. Okay, that's it. You guys have questions? Go, Nicco. Take it away. I'm going to switch
All
back.
right.
I'm going to
Thank
switch
you,
back.
Kitty. That was amazing. It's one thing to see your amazing work, and it's another more amazing thing to see how you actually do it, because the I wouldn't say it's a problem, but the downside with photography is that people see our work and they
Yeah.
don't see a lot of the process behind it.
Right.
And if they do, and if they're able to basically visualize how things are made and how all the magic is done, they would appreciate the craft even more. And now that I see your process. It's amazing, and all the more I have admiration for your work. Amazing work, Kitty.
Thank you.
So there, before we head on to our Q&A portion. First, let's remind everyone that the Sony A7C pre-order promo is going on. So if you like the camera you saw Kitty use, there's a whole lot more to it. You can visit the Sony Philippines website, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, which you're watching on from right now, and learn more about the Sony A7C. As Kitty said, one of the biggest things about it is ergonomics. It's really small. As you can see, Kitty was just shooting with one hand and styling with the other. And for an on-the-go digital creative, that means a whole lot. So there. Let's remind everyone that our Q&A portion, the first 10 students from SOFA who will ask questions will receive a free gift from Sony Philippines. Isn't that something? And I believe they will be able to claim these prizes at the SOFA office. So do we have questions at this point?
Sana madali lang, guys. Sana madali lang, guys.
Maybe we can start if students on the live stream can have any questions.
Not just questions. If you want to share tips to other students, feel free. If I missed out on anything, feel free to share too.
Yes. Okay. Let's begin with Adam naman.
Hi, sure. So, your contest, I just wanted to ask about the post-production, what you do. Alright, so of course, multiple channels to post your the photo. For example, you wanted to post it on Instagram, the feed, and then perhaps you also wanted to post it on Instagram story with different dimensions. So how do you cross post the same content? Do you normally try to do a different one for Facebook and different one for Instagram or something like that?
Okay. So when I shoot, I keep those three in mind. Exactly what you mentioned. Instagram, stories. Most of the time, I'm OC kasi diba, the way I feed stories in Facebook, when you look at the feed, iba-iba talaga the presentation. In Facebook, it's nicer to look at things when they're in landscape mode. So I take different croppings. I take different angles. It's hard kasi to keep editing. As much as possible, the less post production, the better for you. So yun, I take those into consideration. Sometimes I still have my phone to take videos, to take behind the scenes. People like seeing your process. Behind the scenes of your beautiful images, how you created them. It would be good to show. So kahit yung magulo pa, even the messy part, it's okay to show that. It's okay to have the not so perfect pictures. And okay. In terms of production and editing, let's say, I love to edit photos. Pero to be honest, and this is not because Sony is sponsoring us, but we touch my photos on Lightroom or any editing app because talagang the photo straight out of the camera is amazing already. Diba, Nicco? Agree?
Yes, definitely. All right. How about we go to Ina for another question? Another question.
Hi, Miss Kitty. Hello. So I just want to ask, what do you think is the importance of photo-driven marketing, for who want to transition to a digital platform because of the ongoing pandemic?
Because this is tricky because there is, and it's not just the virus. Now we're being bombarded by typhoons. It's really a tough time right now. As a business, how does it matter how many followers you have? Photography is a really, really powerful medium for you to become a good influencer in inspiring others during this time. Um, I just want to be clear when I say create beautiful images. I'm not telling you na magmaganda. You can touch people's lives. You can spark emotion. You can you can literally not just sell parang you can yun nga, spark emotions. You can touch hearts with your work. So like for me, it's such an art that in the process, as I take photos, para siyang in a way healing. It's like going back to myself. That's where authenticity comes in. If you look too much, yes, you find inspiration elsewhere. But if you look too much outside, minsan naguguluhan ka na. So keep going back to yourself. Keep going back to who you are. When something resonates with you, it's much easier to express yourself also. I hope that I answered your question and I hope that made sense. So use photography, use social media, in a way right now that is relevant to the times.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Now let's have Paula if you have a question.
Hi, Miss Kitty, and thank you so much, Nico. For my question, I'm very curious. What are the elements that make a photograph, in a sense, it's
Personal, like in a
almost
sense, it's
interactive?
almost interactive.
Personal and interactive. Paano ba? Depends. Again, number one, things that make a good photograph spark an emotion and personal to your viewer would have to be good lighting, good composition, put there, and at the start, there's your caption, the caption and your intent behind the photograph. It goes down to your purpose first. What's your why? Why are you taking a photo of this? What is it that you want to communicate? And then you just spring from there.
All right, thank you, Kitty. Now I believe we have some questions from the feed. So I believe Ina is going to ask on behalf of her classmate.
Okay, go.
Hi, Miss Kitty. So I have a question here from my friend Carolina Morato. So she asks, if you live in a place with not much natural light, but you still want to achieve a natural look on your photos.
I forgot to mention earlier. One of my examples. I don't always shoot in daylight. I use my kitchen light. I use my kitchen light. As in yung T8 counter. Basta that light, that strip of light under counters. I always take photos when the light is coming from one direction, either in front of me or on the side. Now, if you don't have that type of kitchen light, any lamp would do. As in lampshade, as in kahit fluorescent bulb. But make sure it's coming from one direction. That's my tip, ha? From the side or in front. And then move your product close to the light.
All right, if I may add to that, Kitty.
Go.
If you're looking for ways to come up or to emulate natural light, ambient light, or natural light, you can also use artificial lighting, but be sure to make use of modifiers that will make the light softer. It's interesting because the other Sony Alpha professionals, if you haven't heard of him, his name is Jiggy Alejandrino, and he shoots wedding and portraits, but he's a master in using lights. So if you look him up and you look up his videos, you'll be able to find one or two videos about creating and emulating the ambient or outdoor light. All right, let's go to a question
Or yeah,
from
sorry, Nico.
yes, yes,
In
Kitty.
terms of modifiers, pwedeng bond paper, di ba? Like on the lampshade, to diffuse it, kunyari it's too harsh.
Yes,
Put like a onion
yes.
skin, bond paper, or move it close to your product. You'll be surprised. Ang ganda. Try it. Try it.
Yes. So actually, there's a lot of fun in trying out these different DIY hacks. Of course, you
True.
don't automatically have to spend to that, and improvising really does go a long way.
Yep.
All right. For our next question, this comes from Carla Chang. She's asking for any useful tips for vlogging.
Vlogging. Okay, that's a whole new world for me. Actually, with this camera, the A7C, that's one thing that I am also exploring right now. So, Nico, maybe you can answer this for
All
us.
right, sure.
Go.
So, well, I'm not master resource speaker about vlogging, but if anything, number one, as Kitty says about the A7C, the vari-angle flip screen does well simply because you're able to take videos of yourself if you're walking around, maybe doing a virtual tour, and if you're creating videos, then you're also able to maneuver the camera very well with just one hand, and this can help you focus on speaking, on telling a story, on pointing out things in the environment. So that's actually a whole world of just ease. And with other cameras this can be done as well, of course, but the Sony A7C, as we is really something that was made for these kinds of creatives. Another tip that we can give for aspiring vloggers is, more than anything, focus on the content, focus on the story that you tell, focus on the visuals. Having an appealing video reel is one thing, and having a very good story to tell and put them together, and it just makes more sense, and it just makes more appeal for your viewers. So there, I hope we were able to answer your question, Carla. From D Young, aside from Photoshop and Lightroom, what other softwares or apps can you suggest to make your photos better? Kitty.
Actually, the native editing tools of Instagram is good enough. Also, uh, my daughter loves to use Visco. I actually learned from her. So those are the other two, Visco and the Instagram app. When I edit, I actually don't. And if I do, in any case that I do, I always adjust it. So I usually just adjust the contrast, vibrant sometimes, and the temperature. That's it. And exposure if needed. Yun lang.
All right. If I may add to that, some of the apps I also like using for my photos, especially when graphics or maybe frames or some text. I like using Adobe Spark Post,
Oh,
and
noted.
I believe a similar app to that is Canva right now.
Ah, yeah. Canva.
Yes. All right. We have a question from Jovi. What other equipment does this need to act as a webcam for Twitch streaming? And is it easy to plug or unplug? I think I'll take this question, Kitty.
Go.
So,
Yes, please.
Jovi, I assume you're talking about the A7C. So, what's good about this and basically the Sony ecosystem is that they came up with the Sony image, which is actually what I and also Kitty are using right now. So basically, our camera is just plugged in via the USB port, and we have the Imaging Edge webcam application or driver installed on our computers, and that's basically it. So you just plug it in. You just have to press a few buttons to get the settings right. but basically it's that easy. And this was launched fairly recently, and it's been actually very helpful for things like these. So I hope that answers your question, Jovi. Um, from John Christopher Bongar, what will the trend in product lifestyle photography for the next years, or are we gonna see in our feeds? Do you have a prediction for that, Kitty?
Prediction. Sorry, I'm seeing now, I'm seeing the trend become still towards minimalist, but more mid-century. So I'm seeing earth tones a lot. I'm seeing arches, curves, color blocking, a good play of color blocking. Yeah, but again, you don't always have to go with what's trendy, but that's what we're seeing in terms of not just photography. So photography actually just adapts.
All right. Now we have a question from Vince Pulgar. Are your photos an extension of your personality or more the vibe of your brand?
Okay, that's very important. Sorry, I wasn't able to say that earlier, but yes, your photographs should be an extension of who you are as much as possible. Your brand should be an extension of who you are too, because that way it's
All right. And he has a follow-up question actually. Do
oh
photographers get intimidated by new photo platforms like Boomerang, GIF, and etc.?
yes, TikTok. Uh, um, Hindi naman, not intimidated, but more like, gosh, I don't know. For me, photography will always be there. It's a timeless thing. It's not a trend. It's something that I keep going back to. Yeah, these other platforms are amazing as
Yes,
well.
and photography really, if you're good at creating the photos, they're gonna speak louder for you, no matter what the platform, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Okay, we have another question from Sharina Manaig. Do you have specific camera settings or adjust depending on available light?
Um, okay, without being too technical, my camera settings will always adjust to the available light. Now, what's amazing, again, with the A7C, if you're familiar with ISO settings, well under low light situations, as in it will give you super high quality professional images, even under low light. We can have another workshop for that if SOFA and Sony would allow, right?
All right.
Yeah.
So we have from Ryan F. Uy. How do you edit your photos? Can you tell us a little bit about your process?
I use Lightroom. Uh, Again, I usually just adjust the contrast. Sometimes I lessen vibrance depending on the mood that I like. I usually adjust my greens and yellows in Lightroom because personally, and that's again me personally, I don't want them too yellow or like if you look at this plant behind me, I would darken the green. Ganun lang. Um, and that's not always the case. So I just use Lightroom, no filter. I adjust contrast, vibrance, and temperature.
All right. We have a question from Christopher Bungar. What are your go-to lenses?
35 mm. That's what
That's your
I
favorite.
holding. Oh yeah.
All right.
What about you, Nico? Sorry, I've been meaning to ask. What's your favorite?
My favorite lens, gosh, well, it differs really depending on what I'm shooting. But right now, of course, my favorite 12 to 24 mm.
Perfect for
We're,
you.
we're, we're different in that sense, but really, I shoot a lot of architecture kasi a lot of really, and the sharpness of that lens is just, gosh.
Talaga, I want to try. 24 to
Yeah.
7. for me.
Yeah,
That
of
would
course,
be great for
never ever go to a shoot without your standard zoom. So that's the
yeah,
24 to 70. If you're
correct.
shooting with a full frame, if you're
Yes.
shooting with an APS-C like the Sony A6600, then of course that would be the 16 to 50,
Mm-hmm.
those kinds of lenses. Right. One more question from Gemma Gamer, Gemma Gamer. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. According to mood board style guide and branding, how do you plan your content photos in order to minimize art block, the consistency of your content or posts?
Huh, I take breaks. I take visual breaks, literally. I watch K drama. No, I'm not kidding. Um, because of, again, the work that I do, I get oversaturated with many, many images every day to the point where I get really drained. I don't know what to shoot next or talagang ayoko lang. I just don't want to see. Ayoko muna. So I take mental breaks. I go for a walk. I bask in nature, especially before, especially in 2019. But yeah, it there's merit to taking breaks when you are getting a creative block. It'll come back. Yeah, take the pressure off you. Promise. The
All
more,
right.
the more it won't happen.
Yeah, it's important to be composed in yourself no, before you start creating.
Yes, exactly.
All right. We have another question from Lloyd Renner. How do you convey emotion successfully? It sounds so easy, but it's to someone like me who is more like point and shoot.
You'll be surprised. Since we're talking about it now, it's para may pressure, right? But just keep shooting. It will whatever you shoot, as long as it's your style, keep shooting what you like. And when you start communicating whatever it is that you point and shoot at, magugulat ka. You'll be surprised at how people will feel about it. It's that you always intentionally do, right? Again, it's self-expression. It will just come out. Yeah, but you're right. It's not easy. So I guess just don't overthink the process. Keep practicing, keep shooting um, when you're in the mood.
All right. And he actually has a follow-up question. Also, when you take a photo, do you actually consider how others will feel, perceive, or about the emotion?
Um, to be honest, I don't. I think about what I want them to feel when I'm working with a brand, but if it's, for example, just a personal preference, gusto ko to eh. Whether my or not, if it's something that I like to see every day, um, I'll go for it. I'll take the shot. I'll share it. If it touches hearts along the way, great. If it doesn't, I've expressed myself. So yun. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's ano kasi, it's tricky. When you have a brand, the goal is to sell, right? But you know how people are. They don't just buy into the product, they buy into the story behind your products. So it's
All
important to
right.
yeah.
All right. So I think that was our last question. Thank you very much,
Now it's
Kitty.
right. Thank you,
And
Nicco.
thank you very much to our three friends from Sofa, Adam, Paula, and Ina. Again, I learned a lot. I learned a lot, and I'm sure everyone learned a lot about the photographic expression, about the output, representing everything about your brand, and developing your brand photographically. So hopefully, when our students go out, they'll be able to be guided by everything they learned from Kitty. So thank you, Kitty. Thank you
Thank
very much for
you.
everything that we all learned today. All
Thank you
right,
so
so
much.
yeah, so before we end, again, let's remind everyone if you're interested in the Sony A7C, the pre order promo is available now, and you can check out the link in our post below. And I think Kitty has something to add.
Yeah, sorry. I almost forgot. Okay. We are going to run an additional online contest just so we can apply what we learn. I believe Sofa and Sony, we're all going to come up with a flyer that details the mechanics of this online contest. It's a photo contest. So I'm going to give a product that everyone, I'm sure, would have at home, and then take a photo of it, and then post it on your profiles. Sony X Sofa. Tapos, basta surprises for you. Now, are you ready to find out what product that is? Kailangan paganda nyo, kailangan mapabili kami ni Nicco.
I think this is going to be quite challenging, Kitty.
Okay, guys. Is everyone listening? I hope everyone's still here. The product is a toilet paper.
Oh, okay.
May toilet
Okay.
paper na tayo lahat,
I'm
right?
pretty sure everyone has that.
I'm going to post a sample. I'm going to send it to you guys. Sofa will just cast it on my profile, and then I hope you guys take on the challenge. Kung sino may pinakamagandang toilet paper, yung maiiyak ako sa ganda ng toilet paper, mabibili ko siya.
All
Yeah.
right. So guys, everyone watching, watch out for the poster, for the flyer with the full information about the contest. And basically, you're going to be posting it on Instagram with the hashtag SonyXSofa. Tama ba, Kitty?
Yes, correct.
All right. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the Sony Philippines YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and follow Instagram and on YouTube. And of course, Kitty, plug your social media.
I'm just Kitty Bunag on Instagram. If you have questions or follow-up questions, or if there's anything that I wasn't able to address, feel free to send me a DM. I know some already have. I'm sorry, it's just been busy, but I promise to get back to all of you. So feel free to drop me a line, send me a message if you have personal questions related to photography.
Okay. All right. And of course, if some of our if you have questions about the Sony cameras or about maybe other forms of photography, you can message me and follow me on Instagram at Nicco Valenzuela, Nicco, and also on my YouTube channel with this same name. So there, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Ina. Thank you, Adam, and thank you, Paula, presenting Sofa with us today. And of course, let's thank and give a virtual round of applause to our speaker and Sony Alpha professional, Miss Kitty Bunag. Thank you, Kitty.
Nicco Valenzuela, our Sony Philippines product expert and excellent host for the day.
All right, thank you. Bye, and
Bye,
see you again
guys.
soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Alpha. Life happens in fleeting moments, where everything is a little more colorful. Where inspiration strikes unannounced. And you can find extraordinary beauty in the everyday. See what small can do with the Sony Alpha 7C.